Hi, I'm Dwayne Morton. As someone who has navigated some of life's most difficult, unlikely, and untimely circumstances, I understand what it feels like to battle those challenges alone. That's why I created Show Up to Heal. This podcast is for the people who feel unheard, unseen, and unloved. This is where you can come and hear true stories and where man can have real conversations. But most importantly, this is a place where we're creating a community so you can feel supported. I want you to feel in this community that you are seen, heard, and loved. And if no one else has told you today, I love you. Welcome to Show Up to Heal. Hey everyone, thank you so much for spending some time with me and the Show Up to Win presents Show Up to Heal. I'm your host, Dwayne Morton, Mr. Show Up to Win himself. And I have an amazing guest. And we didn't know each other until like 15 minutes ago. But when you meet people and you realize that God crossed paths for a specific purpose and be able to be in that awareness and then realize like what an amazing human being this person is, but also just how aligned he is with me and my purpose. And so let me bring him up. There you go. Sorry, this thing has changed interfaces, so it keeps switching out. Dr. Will Sow, man. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really grateful and for the opportunity to be here.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna read your bio real quick, and I love reading other people's bio because I know how it is when I have people reading my bio, and I just love to see that and watch them receive. Dr. Will is a sports medicine chiropractor specializing in fascial counterstrain therapy, a precise hands-on technique that identifies and releases tension in the body's fascia and nervous system. With a background in performance-based care, he helps athletes and active individual clients restore movement, eliminate pain, and return to doing what they love. His approach is rooted in science and guided by willpower, blending functional assessments with targeted, gentle corrections to unlock the body's natural healing potential. At Willpower Health, Dr. Will aligns with the mission to deliver personalized, high integrity care that empowers patients. Outside the clinic, Dr. Will is an avid golfer, tennis player, and pickleball player. He's passionate about movement in all forms and brings that same energy into helping other people's move, feel, and live better. How does that land, man, when you hear someone talk about you from a bio perspective?
Uh, it's a little weird since I wrote it myself, so it's always weird when you're writing in third person and stuff like that. But you're just trying to convey the message, right? It's really authentic to who I am, and when someone reads that, that's literally who you're going to meet in person. So I try to make it as one to one as possible.
That loves it. I love that, and I love the fact that it's just an authentic version of who Dr. Will is. All right, so my first question is going to be for men's mental health awareness. What do you feel like we're doing correctly? What do you feel like we're missing the boat? And then what do you feel like we could do better?
Great question. Uh, what are we doing correctly? Is that the first one?
Mm-hmm.
What are we doing correctly? I think in the world that we're living in, what are we doing correctly is we are still empowering men, and that machismo effect, right? I think as at our core, we're still animals, and having and instilling in giving confidence to men to do what they need to do is incredible. Um, on the same coin is we need more support. I feel like men were always grinding, we're out there working, and not enough people are slowing down the guys and be like, hey guys, how are you guys doing? Right? And taking a break. And it's not, the dudes all at the 19th hole or the watering hole where it's like we're just having a drink and we're just kind of chit chatting. It's like, no, truly, how are you doing? Um, there's probably a funny meme going there. My wife will make fun of me also. I'll go golf for 5 hours with my guys and we'll come back and she's like, hey, how's Alex doing? How's his wife doing? How's his kids doing? And I'm like, I have no idea. I never asked. I never slowed down enough to ask my own friend, my guy friends, how they're doing. And so something that we can all improve on is slowing down and just like, hey, how are you, Dwayne, doing today? And just being invested in you only, in your own mental health and your day to day. And what was the third one? Sorry.
What do you feel like we're doing better? And I feel like you answered that.
I already answered. There we go.
Yeah, I feel like so when you said that, I was like, I thought you answered it. So I think, Dr. Will, one thing that you mentioned was how like women are able to like have conversation and find deeper meaning, and that where men we're like we want to play golf or we want to play, and it gets into competition, but then we also lose that human element of just being able to say, I just I'm lost doing this task. Like I don't understand like where I'm at in this path of life. And I think there's like we have these crutches, like you said, the 19th toe, those things, and it brings in other issues. And I think that's the other thing is but also that's also where people bond. I think us as men, maybe we need to look more at bonding when we're playing golf and asking those small, simple things. Hey, how's your wife? How are your kids? I think they can be implemented also. Um, you mentioned your wife, and again, we don't know each other that much, but also it seems like she's pretty supportive, but sounds like she's pretty communicative too for you. Can you share a little bit of the dynamic? And the reason I'm saying this is there's been a few of the men that have been able to share about their friend, their partner, who just so happens to be female, and be able to relate, to be able to have like, hey, this is my soundboard. I can say this to her, which is also support for men's mental health awareness, because they can be supportive too. It's not always just the brotherhood part. It can be both. And I think that's really important. Can you share your perspective on that?
Yeah, my perspective is behind every strong man, there's a stronger woman, um, uplifting them, right? And if we want to go back a couple years, it's you had the wife who would just stay home, the homemaker, take care of the kids, and the guy would go out and grind and work and support the family in that dynamic. But that dynamic works really well because they complement each other. In the world that we live in now, where we are trying to find equality and help each other grow, that dynamic kind of breaks down a little bit, where now men have to take on a little bit more of that family home dynamic. And I read an article recently where a lot more millennials are taking on that role. Guy millennials are taking on that role of, tying ponytails on their daughter's head. They're encouraging their sons to go out and play with girls and being a little bit more inclusive in that respect. So, um, you know, having the two and learning from the two in terms of how a girl or a female thinks and how a guy thinks, that complements each other so well. And my wife is my biggest supporter, but also one of my biggest like devil's advocates. She's always challenging me in how I think, because my mindset is so, quote unquote machismo. It's so confident in what it is. She's like, actually slow down there. Have you thought about this? And more times I'm gonna be like, I haven't thought about that. You're right. As empathetic as I am in clinic and working with people, she just has a different gear of thinking. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. And so I learn from her every single day.
Absolutely. And that's really great. I'm glad you have someone that's able to support you. And so for you, with having a clinic and you see people come in with physical pain, and you see people who, some people have to use the pharmaceuticals, some people have to, just deal with it. Can you share how you can have a better, I'll say it better, that you can share a perspective of for you being able to treat it, also see the difference when you're properly treated, and then when people say don't do the things that like you are prescribing, or you're saying, hey, you should, go walk, and small things that everyone will be able to do, but they don't see the importance, and so it shows up in their health, which affects their mental health.
Yeah, great question there. It's all my clients in here will get tired of me saying it. I tell them all the time, motion is lotion. I don't really care how you do it. You just got to get up and move. And as an athlete yourself, you kind of know, you feel the difference when you don't move for X amount of time. And then all of a sudden you go out and do a quick workout, a quick walk, a quick run, jog, whatever it is. You start releasing a lot of dopamine, a lot of serotonin. Your hormone balance starts changing to make you a little bit more excited, a little bit more happy throughout the day. And so what I find is, my clinic is based off of a lot of movement, a lot of active individuals who come in. So they're already looking to be and stay active, but they can't because of an injury or pain or stress or whatever it is. And the biggest, thing a lot of people can probably relate to is everyone has tight shoulders. They're always complaining about their traps. They're always squeezing, right behind their the lower neck area there, and that's coming from a lot of stress, right? And what happens when we all get stressed? We start doing this. We start breathing more shallow, a little bit less deeper breaths start occurring, and so we start doing a lot of this. And if I just turn myself profile wise, this is simply just somebody at a desk all day long. And so I encourage people to just get up and move. I don't really care where. Go to the bathroom, get a drink of water, go outside for a loop around the neighborhood. But motion is lotion. Our bodies are meant to move. And when we aren't, it's just, we're dead. That's just death. Things are flatline. And so when we have that very black and white mindset of getting some motion in throughout the day, you just naturally start feeling better. Your muscles just thank you for that. You get fresh blood flow into those areas, and your mental health will be thankful for it. Right? You start feeling a little bit better. Your hormonal changes happen, and those knots in your shoulders kind of go away as well.
Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned was just with, because you're dealing more with like athletes, more people who are active. So when they are not physically feeling well, they're
Mm-hmm.
not being able to compete in sports, play golf, play pickleball, those type of things they
Yeah.
enjoy. How do you relay that information of like, I know you want to do this, but also like, you know, without going through the proper protocol, then you're at more risk, but also that mental health part and being able to express that in a way where you're not coming down with them like a guilt or shame, but also being able to be realistic with them. I think that's the other part, is like not have a white coat syndrome type people that come in. So how can you relate that?
First and foremost, everyone who comes through that door, they're not a patient, right? And when you read my bio there, I purposely wrote in client, because when we hear the word
Cool.
client, it's a teamwork, right? We're working together. I'm more of a consultant than more of a provider. I'm here to work with you to get you to the goal that you want, whether that's competing, being active again, running around with the grandkids, right? You're a client. Everybody who walks through that door is a client, because to your point, white coat syndrome is a real thing. And so when someone hears patient, they're just like, oh, I'm sick. I'm hurt. You do the work, doctor. No, this is a teamwork thing. And as being on a basketball team, and your experience with being on teams and travel teams, it's we work together, right? No one is bigger than the team. We work together to ensure that we reach the goal and we achieve what we came to do. In this case here, get them to move better.
Right. So just to tell you, is like, because a lot of people like to say there's no I in team. I believe there's no me. you can't spell team without the me. Also, there's a huge me part that I feel like there's also a personal responsibility too. And so for people who come in and they're on a team sport, they also have to take care of their physical health, and that's what you're able to do is to help them optimize that. And so one of the things too is like I love the fact that your brand is willpower, putting your name in it also, but just putting that extra punch to that. Can you explain a
Yeah.
little bit behind that uh the reasoning behind that?
Yeah. Willpower. I was kicking around at a conference with a friend in Vegas, and I was never super confident in opening my own business or my own clinic. And after a couple of years, he's just like, dude, what's taking you so long? And I threw out the excuse of like, I'm not good, blah, 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 blah. I don't even know what to call my clinic, right? I don't know how to represent myself, my own brand. I don't know what that would look like to start, right? Being authentic to myself. I don't even know who I am. And jokingly, I did know one thing about myself is that I am willing to show up every single day to get 1% better. And he's like, that's it. I'm like, okay, what is that? And he's like, that's willpower. And I was like, no. I had an imposter syndrome for a long time. I didn't fully like my name being in the name itself. Um, but I looked up what willpower was. And in effect, it's to do the hard thing today so that tomorrow is easy. That is what willpower is. And I was like, wow, that's perfect. That's exactly what my clinic is. Every person who walks in through the door is deciding to do the hard thing of finding and seeking help, a consultant to help them feel better, get better, find the root cause of their pain or dysfunction that's preventing them from completing their task or their goal, so that tomorrow they can reach that goal. And it just went hand in hand and went perfectly. And I was like, awesome, willpower health. And that's being a millennial. I dropped the vowels because that's how we used to spell power. And here we are with willpower.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So one of the things that's kind of I wanted to ask is you were talking about imposter syndrome. How are you working through it? How did you work through it? And then also how did you identify it in yourself?
Ooh. Um, I'm an introvert by nature. So I guess I always live with imposter syndrome. But I had another introvert uh, mention to me that introverts are the strongest networkers and the strongest connectors in the world. And it took me a second to understand what he was trying to say because as an introvert, you kind of don't want to talk to anybody, yet somehow you are the best at talking and connecting people. And he kind of brought me. He shared a book. It's called The Introvert's Edge, The Edge of an Introvert, or something like that. And I kind of threw it on audiobook and started listening to it. And what makes an introvert succeed and one of the best people as a connector and communicator is our foundation, right? Introverts get super anxious when they're in a crowd. We start sweating a little bit. We're like, I don't like being here, right? But what makes us introverts amazing is that we can create and set up processes and foundations for us to build off of. And so to get over my imposter syndrome was fully believing what willpower was, right? Is to help people be better every single day. I'm just literally being authentic is who I am. And so whoever comes in, it's like, welcome. You are in the right place. And so that helped me get over my name. It helped me become or overcome my imposter syndrome because I had something to fall back on where it's like, this is what I believe in. If you believe in it, let's work together. If not, let me help you find somebody that believes in you and what your goals are. And people love that also, right? As a connector, and we don't always get along with everybody, but knowing how to connect somebody else and move them forward in their health journey uh, creates credibility. And they're just like, awesome, wow, I didn't really think that you would be able to help me or find somebody who can help me. So that's kind of how I got over my imposter syndrome and kind of lean into my introvertedness tendencies.
No, it's awesome, and I love the fact that like you were able to identify it. And also, I think one thing with introverts is when we're purpose driven, and I believe you're purpose driven. It gives you a way to go through that uncomfortable part, and it seems like that was the part, and being able to have that brand and have your name in it. Like the uncomfortable part of that was this learning part of learning the impact that you're about to have with people. So, how long have you been in practice? Like, or not practice, but how long have you been a consultant? I feel like I'm working on putting you into that client. So, with the consultant part.
Yeah, great question. Great question. You know, kind of coming around that answer there is, I am a consultant. I don't really consider myself a chiropractor, even though my bio says it. I'm so much more than what a traditional chiropractor does. And so, uh, sorry, what was the question again?
That's okay. The question was about how long you've been in as a
Oh,
consultant.
chiropractor. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been a practicing provider, consultant, chiropractor for 11 years now.
Oh wow.
And through those 11 years, I've pretty much been an imposter for nine of them. Willpower was only started like less than 2 years ago. And so, yeah, it's living with that for so long, just not being confident in who I am as a provider.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
reason why I was saying this question was because I feel I like to go back to as a kid, right? Like I
Yeah.
like to go like let's take you back to that 8-year-old kid. And what would that 8-year-old kid tell you? Like, so it's different. Most times it's you tell the kid, like, hey, you can do this. Like, look at me. That type of thing. No. What would you think he would say to you right now?
Be unapologetically you. Uh, Growing up for so long, I was always told or tried to been molded into something I wasn't. And I always had this deep uneasiness of like, man, that's just not who I am. And I feel like my 8 year old would just be like, just do you, be you,
Wow.
um, unapologetically you. And people who see that will gravitate towards you. I'm a people pleaser. There's a lot of people pleasers out there. And when you are truly who you are, and I think my 8 year old self would tell you, you'll just gravitate or just have that gravitational pull of whoever believes in who you are. They'll just still be with you, regardless if you make a fool of yourself, if you fall flat on your face, you say something real dumb. They'll just be like, you know what? I've done that before. I totally get it, and they'll reach out a hand and they'll pick you back up and you both move forward together, being friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Is just be unapologetically yourself. And
Yeah.
so, being able to look back and, like you said, those 2 years of before the practice, like same
Yeah.
thing. What would you tell yourself for 2 years ago? Like you now in the present, go back in time to tell yourself like what you've seen in 2 years.
Um, you're doing this is all part of the process of my growth journey. Um, if I'm going to go back and look at it, I was always super nervous. I was always super shaky in my communication. Um, I remember going to a network meeting once just to help generate leads for the business. And I stumbled through my elevator pitch like just crumbled under pressure. Um, but through the process and trusting the process and showing up every day, um, with practice, and you kind of know this as an athlete, with practice and purposeful practice, you can achieve what you need to do. Um, and so I think the quote that I sent over was process over prize. Don't worry about what the end result is. If you put in the process, you put in the time to do everything correctly with purpose and meaningful action, your prize will be at the end, whatever that prize may be, monetary, a trophy, recognition, it doesn't matter. But people will recognize the work you put in. Um, and a lot of times the world will not see the work you put in, right? Uh, I'm from Portland. I'm a huge Blazer fan. And Kobe just absolutely murdered us every single year. And I can't tell you how much disdain I have for Kobe until he retired, and you start seeing the work he put in. We have the Jordan documentary, and all the work that he puts in, the practice. We now see it. The world now sees it, and they get elevated even more. But back then, he was one of the Kobe is the Black Mamba is one of the most disliked, hated, burnt people on the court. Yet he would slay people. He would just destroy teams. And you're just like, how does he do it? And we all chalk it up to talent. But at the end of the day, he put more work in when we were all sleeping and we didn't see it. And so, show up every single day, trust the process, put in the work. When people aren't even seeing it, they will see it. And you will see it also.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm a huge Lakers fan. So like Kobe with 5 rings.
Go.
And the reason I'm saying this is like I had similar mindset with basketball. Like I would just eat, sleep, breathe it. And
Yeah.
so, I was older than Kobe a year or around same age. So I didn't get to learn that from him and through the media. And so when I saw that stuff, I saw like, oh, there's some similarities. And so one of the things that comes out of this that comes into this next question part is with you coming back and telling yourself that trust the process. Like, where do you see yourself in like 5 years from now? That you've seen this 2-year growth. What do you see for 5 years? Like, what do you see for 10? Like, how do you go attain that? I think that's where most people are stuck, is when they're like, if I did this in this time, what could I do in 5? What could I do in 10? Like,
Yeah.
where are you at with that?
Where am I with that? I love living in the future. I'm a huge daydreamer, and I love outrageous goals. In the 5-year plan, I hope to have my own clinic. Um, and I was working with a business coach, and scary enough, they were like, okay, take that vision and split it in half. So in 2.5 years, you got to tell yourself that's the goal. You will have this in 2.5 years, accelerate it. Um, and I was like, that is scary and that is crazy. But the thing that I learned the most in that explanation and that practice was it puts that goal in your mind's eye every single day. And so you can fall back on your 5-year plan. For me, it's to have my own clinic, but if you want to achieve it, give yourself the pressure and the goal and the process to run it for 2.5 years, because your brain will start connecting the dots for you. It will start looking and hearing people to connect yourself with, to make that dream and that goal happen. So in 5 years, hopefully I have my own clinic. In 10 years, I hope to have three other providers, and we just are ripping and roaring here in the Portland, Vancouver area, providing care for the community. So that's the goal. And but yeah, it's your your mind will always uh, seek out what you want. It's kind of the same analogy as like you really want a car, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere when you start driving. Your mind's eye will drive your goal in mind at the forefront.
Absolutely. Well, man, we're
Yeah.
right at the 30-minute mark, and I just want to I want to say I appreciate you so much for coming on and short notice. And I'm also an introvert too, so there's a other part of just being able to know what type of work that it takes to get to that part where now I'm sure you go to networking events and you feel comfortable. It's because you've done it before, and it's doing it a few times to get that practice part. But man, I'm just want to say, thank you, but also like I'm looking forward to hearing more about your success and being part of it, and love to have you on for more time on another podcast.
Yeah, would love to have it. Thank you, Dwayne. I would love to hear more about your journey, and we can continue this conversations for so long, and
Right.
how it's shaped you. What your process is like. I love hearing about other people's processes. But yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to chat with you.
Absolutely, Dr. Will. Well, that is the episode of Show Up to Win presents Show Up to Heal. Tomorrow's guest, holy, I just looked at I just completed 25. We have 5 more of these to go. Uh, John Kennedy is the guest tomorrow, and he's one of the top neuroplasticians in the world and a really great friend of mine. And I'm really looking forward to being able to interview him tomorrow and share presence with him. And so, everyone, y'all have a fantastic day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thank you for watching another episode of Show Up to Win presents Show Up to Heal. Please like, share, and subscribe. Your support means the world to me. Thank you.